When it comes to quality shooters, the PC Engine is an embarrassment of riches. However, many of them do feature similar sci-fi outer space themes, so some of them do tend to blend together. There are a number of outliers though, like the Aquatic Deep Blue, the Airzone games, Koryun, Star Protea, or Konami's Proteus and Twinbee games. Out of all of these, the most well-known is probably Quest's Magical Chase, a cute-em-up featuring a flying witch. Its notoriety stems almost entirely from its exorbitant aftermarket price, but it's a pretty solid game in its own right. The heroine is Ripple, an apprentice witch, who is tasked with tracking down 6 demons she accidentally released. She's accompanied by 2 Star Maidens, which act as options and have their own firepower. You can control their positioning and fire direction using the 1 button. Because they absorb certain low-level bullets, they can also be used as a method of defense. Ripple technically only has a single life, but she also has an expansive life bar, as well as backup hearts, which are activated by double tapping the fire button and refill your health. Dying will send you back to the beginning of the stage, regardless of whether you have any backup hearts left. Ripple can equip herself with 9 different weapons, including the rapid-fire Balkan, which is a cutesy rendition of the word Vulcan, 3-way wave beams, homing attacks, and the super powerful X4. The stars can only be equipped with 2 other types of weapons, the Cracker Ball and Cyclone. Destroyed enemies will drop crystals, which can be used at the shops, which are staffed by the same Pumpkinhead guy. These typically appear once or twice throughout each stage. You can also purchase health restoratives and other items to extend the length of your health meter. Stages tend to be long plains, without much design. The exceptions are Stage 3, which has an airship which closes in and out on you, and Stage 4, which has a more elaborate layout, with scenery you need to fly between. All stages include at least 1 mid-boss. The final stage actually has several of these, which are featured before the level begins. Between the large life meter, constant health refills, both purchased and dropped by enemies, and backup hearts, Magical Chase becomes a pretty easy game. There are 3 difficulty levels, and when you can only play half the game in the easiest setting, the game isn't particularly difficult unless you restrict yourself from using health restoratives. Some of the bosses later on have incredibly tricky shot patterns, and having all of this backup helps let you absorb most of the damage. However, ultimately it doesn't really matter, because Magical Chase is not really meant for the hardcore shoot-'em-up fan, but it's rather one of those games where you just sit back to enjoy the sights and the sounds. Ripple is a cute heroine, and all of the enemies are incredibly silly to varying degrees. These include chicken heads which have human legs for bodies, to weird grinning raccoons, to snowmen that are wearing Jason-esque hockey masks. A recurring theme is that some of the bosses wear rather frightening armor, but when you destroy them, it's revealed that they're just some little shrimp. Indeed, many of the enemy death animations are pretty amusing. The backgrounds are colorful if a little repetitive, and the parallax scrolling is impressive for the TurboGrafx 16. The music is composed by Hitoshi Sakimoto and Masaharu Iwata, who later worked together on many other Quest titles, including Ogre Battle and Tactics Ogre. It's much more lighthearted than their dramatic orchestral work, but all of it is incredibly catchy, and they're some of the best chiptunes on the platform. In 2013, more than 20 years after the actual game was released, the label SuperSweet published a soundtrack CD. It includes all the original music, including a handful of arranged and prototype tracks. These include a few redone in the later Sakimoto Iwata signature style, recalling something like Final Fantasy XII, while another sounds like it was composed using Sakimoto's FM harpsichordion sound driver. There are 2 releases in Japan, with the second one known as the Fan Edition, since it was associated with PC Engine Fan magazine. Other than some small markings on the packaging, there's no difference between these releases, and no real difference in the aftermarket price either. The American release, published in 1993, is insanely expensive, especially complete in box. The American release has a handful of graphical changes. In the Japanese release, the first stage is built with colorful Lego-like blocks, but this has been changed to a more generic medieval castle scenery. Some of the sprites have been redrawn. Ripple now looks a little less rounded, and the face enemies in the first stage are now fairies. The shopkeeper balloon now looks like a floating pumpkin, which is a little bit more appropriately themed.
A decade after the original PC Engine release, Magical Chase was ported to the Game Boy Color courtesy of Microcabin, who gave it the subtitle Minerai Maho Tsukai Kenja no Tanie, which means the apprentice witch travels to the Philosopher's Valley. The highest difficulty level is gone, and instead it adds hint screens. The shopkeeper has also been changed to a cute girl. The graphics and music are degraded, obviously, and the screen proportions are a little bit different to fit in the portable screen, but in spite of this, it's a fantastic port, and even maintains the parallax scrolling. There's also a Windows release by Bottech, which is a straight port that uses audio recording from the PC Engine game as Redbook. Due to its exorbitant aftermarket value, Magical Chase is one of those games whose quality is hard to assess. It's an excellent game, but worth a several $100 asking price? Probably not. However, while it's not the best shooter on the TurboGrafx 16, it is one of the better ones, even if it is a little on the easy side. After Magical Chase, Quest shifted gears from lighthearted to cute 'em ups to serious strategy sims with their Ogre Battle series, but a few of the items, like the Ripple Staff, pay homage to the witch from their previous game. The pumpkin race is debatably a reference to the pumpkin shopkeeper from Magical Chase 2. The game has had a noticeable effect on shoot 'em up fans. The shoot 'em up construction kit Desaimon Plus on the PlayStation includes a pre-made shooter called Little Chaser. It's vertical rather than horizontal, but the main character looks almost exactly like Ripple. The 2007 Dojin shooter Trouble Witches features a similar theme, though it also plays entirely differently. However, you still collect currency, and the shopkeepers reside in floating pumpkins, even wearing pumpkin attire. The character Sakura in the cave shooter Death Smiles is also a witch, and she plays a little like Ripple, with two crows that act as her options. If you enjoy our videos and want to help us make more, please consider supporting us through Patreon. You'll find the link below.